Welcome back to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker, the weekly radio show that informs and educates you on how to buy or sell real estate with Barb Schlinker, host of the program and owner broker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Now, Barb, most people are very concerned about preparing their home for sale. Many want to know what steps to take to make the most money. So, what are some key things that home sellers need to do to get their home ready for a sale?
Well, Richard, it starts with a selling strategy. So I would say, number one, pick somebody that would help you accomplish your goals. That's number one, and that's usually one of the questions. It is one of the questions that we ask when we meet with sellers. You know, what is your goal? How quickly do you want to sell? What's your expected outcome? What do you think it's worth? There's a lot of questions like that that we talk about to make them basically tell us what their mission is with the sale. Some people are not in a hurry. Some people are in a hurry. Some people don't want to do any remodeling. Some people don't want to do any showing. It's different with every single seller. So we have to sit down and find out exactly what the selling strategy is. And you've got to consider if you're going to go very limited showings, then probably it's going to sell for a lower price. Or if you're going to go full on beautiful HGTV look, that's a different plan. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to completely remodel the whole house, but you want to make it to a state of what I call move-in ready. For me, flooring is critical. If you don't take care of flooring, especially if the carpet's got traffic marks on it, hardwood floor looks scuffed and bad and all that stuff, the buyers can see that. The cameras and the photography these days really pick up on just a little bit of wear on the carpet. But I think buyers, even if the home is not remodeled, can actually move into a house if it's priced right and put their own taste on it and do their own remodeling down the road. But flooring is something that's a very big inconvenience to redo right after you bought the house. So I would say most buyers definitely are going to pass on a home that needs flooring. And it's critical that you decide to get those, what I call 3 Ps right: preparation, pricing, and promotion, which that is the responsibility of the agent. So when you select an agent, everybody has their different way of doing it. Most people don't interview jobs. We made a mistake before by picking a contractor that didn't work for us, which cost us a lot of money down the road. Well, the same thing can happen with the real estate agent. If you hire somebody that doesn't know how to market, that doesn't take good photos. I just helped Nona and Victor last fall, where they had their house on the market for 110 days with a realtor that obviously didn't know a whole lot about marketing. The photos were awful, but what was interesting was the house was beautiful. So he took these smartphone photos, couldn't be bothered to spend a few $100s to present the home properly, way overpriced the home. The seller even went to the expense and trouble to bring in staging furniture. So traditionally, bringing in staging furniture cost anywhere from $1,500 to $2,500 a month. Imagine burning that much money every single month just to try to get a buyer. But it didn't work because the photos were so bad, you could not get the buyers in the door. So we solved that problem immediately. We had a huge initial crowd when it went on the market. We got one offer that I suggested to the seller probably wouldn't work, but I said, stand by, we're getting a lot of interest. And sure enough, within 9 days, boom, full price and sold. And there was another buyer complaining that I didn't save the house for him that had been on the market now for 120 days. So many people really, though, don't know how to select an agent, and they use various reasons for doing it. It might be, I like the agent. I knew the agent. They sold me the house. And there's nothing wrong with any of those things. But the question is, are they going to be the ones to really help you accomplish your goals with the sale of the property? And with everybody, it's a little bit different. And it is a big asset. It's not the same as selling a car. At the end of the day, a lot of people think that hiring somebody, like what a company does, is you have, you just talk to them and you decide you like them and you move on from there. But it is almost like interviewing for a job. In a way, did they present themselves well? Did they say the right things to able to get you to meet your goals? And is it real? Like what I notice a lot of times agents will do is they'll say, oh, I can get you, 2 million for your house, when it's not realistic, right? But you do it anyway because the appeal of money is so attractive. And then the house sits on the market, it's not selling, not moving, and that's really a disaster, because then it gets kind of market worn, in my opinion. So I would not pick an agent if the agent comes in and basically says, I can get you way more than anybody else, because they definitely could be wrong. And really the strategy is, hey, get the seller to sign the agreement. Then the other agents will come along if they do show, and they'll say, oh, it's priced too high, it's priced too high. Then they can make the other agent the bad guy, and they can walk the price down to get it to sell. I don't think that works in the seller's best interest. I mean, of course, we'd love to get a seller the most money, but one of the things that we put together is a agent selection guide. So if you go on my website, I have all kinds of free reports. One of them is called a free agent selection guide. So you just click on that green button and request that report. But as far as getting the house ready for sale, it starts with cleaning, which also involves decluttering. That's absolutely critical. It was funny. I've got one on the market this week, but when I first went in the home, she had this really pretty antique armoire in the living room, but the piece was big. It was way oversized. It was sticking out in the room, and it was interfering with the focal point of the room, which was this beautiful fireplace with this carved tiger wood oak mantle. It was gorgeous. And I'm like, you're taking away from that focus, and it's just too big of a piece. But it didn't look that way to the eye. So I said, let me show you. So I took a picture with my phone on the horizontal, not the vertical, and said, look at this. You can see it on the phone, but you can't necessarily see it with your own eyes, because our eyes have really good wide angle vision. Cleaning's critical. Make sure all the bathrooms are clean, all the rugs are picked up for photo day. Make sure that all the hardware is clean. Clean is very, very important, especially around the front door. Odors can really be a problem. I did just sell a house that had cigarette smell, and that's, other than that, it was a good house, but that's essentially why the seller decided to price it on the low side. But it did work. He got his price and everybody was happy. But in general, you got to be really careful about odors. So don't go cooking heavy smell foods. Don't put on the crock pot when you're showing, if you can avoid it. And some people don't notice odors because they live with it so long. The best way you can tell is go for a walk, just a short walk, and then walk inside your home, and you should be able to smell it. So those definitely need to be neutralized. Of course, get rid of trash. Windows and screens are important to clean, but actually it doesn't pick up on cameras. So it's, a lot of people ask me about that, and it's not necessary. On the depersonalized front, you want to make sure you clear off a lot of clutter from tabletops, ledges, countertops, all the little tchotchkes that are all over the place. You really want to pack those away. First of all, they could get lifted. That could happen. We don't want that to happen, but people come through your house, you never know. So you want to make sure all the counters are clear. What a lot of people tend to do is they might put some kind of fabric piece like a doily on top of dressers and end tables, and it just doesn't look good in photos. So I would definitely pick those up, put those away. As far as personal pictures, if you have a few strategically placed family photos, that's okay. But if you are covering a wall with your life story, is very distracting. The buyers are no longer focused on the house when they're inside. They are looking at your story. And so you're better off really paring that down as much as possible. Also, things like refrigerator magnets, take them down, that sort of thing. That's just a kind of a taste of some of the things that you can do to get ready for sale. And if you want that free report, the free agent selection guide, and the 10 questions you should ask before you hire an agent, go to barbhasthebuyers.com or give us a call, 719-301-3900. Richard?
You're listening to Barb Schlinker on Your Real Estate Voice. Barb Schlinker is your real estate voice. And if you are thinking of selling your home and want to get the most amount of money for it when you sell, call Barb 719-301-3900 or visit barbhasthebuyers.com. When we come back, we'll be covering how to sell a house and buy a house at the same time. It's a catch-22. Barb will explain it.